Good morning. My name is Marcus Sakurai, and I will be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? Welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help to find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we'll have Sanbujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by the sutra chanting Juseige on page 23 in the little book, or page 93 in the big book. The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along. Please rise to sing the Gatha Tsuki ga Deta on page 96 of the small Dharma School service book, followed by the golden chain, which is located on page 2 in the little book, or page 15 in the big book under golden chain 1. The golden chain. I'm a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all those who are myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Now we'll have a Dharma lesson by Rinban Sakamoto.
Good morning. And to those of you who are watching on YouTube, good morning and welcome to this morning's service. You probably noticed somebody that hasn't been here for a while has joined us again for our Sunday morning services. And Mikame Sensei, welcome back. It has been such a challenge to secure visas for Mikame Sensei. And it started out, with 3 ministers that were in her group that were caught in this kind of a window where they couldn't renew their visas as was normally supposed to happen. Imada Sensei, who was in Lodi, and then Murakami Sensei, who was in Los Angeles, and Mikame Sensei, who was here. Murakami Sensei, who's now at the Salinas Buddhist Temple, assigned to the Salinas Buddhist Temple. Murakami Sensei, almost as soon as he arrived, he applied for a green card. And so once he was in that process, then he was able to stay in this here until his green card application was resolved. Imada Sensei and Mikame Sensei were unable to, had not applied for green cards, so they were in a kind of a different category. And we tried to figure out with Fragomen attorneys, immigration attorneys, to figure out a way that they could get visas to stay. And so what was decided upon was that we will try this L1 visa, which is normally for corporations and individuals transferring within the corporations internationally. And because the Honganji is kind of an international organization, right? Our headquarters is in Kyoto, and we have temples outside, or districts outside of Japan, and in those districts are these temples. So we thought that might be a good model to follow, the business model, and we applied for that. And when we applied for that, for this L1 visa, Imada Sensei's visa, we submitted both Imada Sensei and Mikame Sensei's visas at the same time. And Imada Sensei's visa was approved. But poor Mikame Sensei, something happened. And for some reason, her visa was not approved. And so we were stuck. We didn't know what we were going to do. So Imada Sensei, he was approved, and he was okay. But we applied for another visa, L1 visa. We did the thing. We applied for an L1 visa for Mikame Sensei because we had the example of Imada Sensei being approved. So we thought maybe it's just we needed to kind of adjust it. So we applied and rejected again. Yeah, rejected again. So it's not so good. So we thought maybe we could figure out something, make adjustments, and reapply. But that denial of the visa meant that Mikame Sensei couldn't stay here in the United States. So we kind of rushed through getting Mikame Sensei ready, and then kind of left the country under the cover of darkness. So it was early in the morning. She left, got on a plane back to her home in Shimane. And she's been there since February, and last Wednesday returned. During her time in Japan, the application process continued and was eventually approved in early November. Is this November? So it can't be early November. It was early October, I guess, when it was approved. And she made arrangements to be here in time for yesterday's retirement party, which was great. All of you, thank you so much. And to the organizing committee who put yesterday's event together, it was really nice. And to have Mikame Sensei join us for that was especially a big treat. And when Mikame Sensei came here in 2018, 19, there were things that I have been doing in terms of, doing services, how we do services here. And I had been doing these things for many years. And Mikame Sensei looked kind of surprised when we did certain things. So Mikame Sensei had come straight from training others in the Honganji. So the practices were fresh in her mind. And one of the things, well, there were several things, but one of the I guess the most noticeable thing was when we do Kansho, ringing of the bell, for funeral services, we used to do 2 and then up, down, 5, up, down, and then 3. That was the way that we used to do, and we were taught to do that, 2, 5, 3. And she asked, why are you doing that? So apparently somewhere along the line, in that decades that had passed since we, from Inoue Sensei and through Ohata Sensei, Fujimoto Sensei, we were always doing this 253. Our morning, Kansho, of course, is 753. And she said, why are you doing that? Okay. So what apparently had changed was that we do just 753 at even during funeral services. There are some temples probably that continue to do a 253 pattern, but they're behind the times now. But I think one of the things that startled her the most was then, when we, and this has to do with funeral, sorry, but with funeral services, we present a Dharma name, a homyo. Some of you who participated in the kieshiki received the Dharma name, right? And the Dharma name was presented came from the Honzan through bishop's office and then was presented at that kieshiki service. And so it's not just when at a funeral service that this Dharma name is presented. It can be at other times as well. But at funeral services, if the person doesn't have a Dharma name, then the temple will present that Dharma name to the person who has died. And usually for men, we have the shaku and then the Dharma name. And for women, we have shaku ni and the Dharma name. And that had been practiced for ages upon ages. And Mikame Sensei said, why are you using ni? Ni is, it's almost so it is an expression, or it is a character that indicates that this person was a woman who died. So ni is ama, yeah? So it's nun, kind of a character for nun. But it's also kind of discriminatory, I guess. And so when she saw us writing shaku ni for women, she said, why are you doing that? So I said, okay, no more. So if you attend our Obon service, our Hatsubon service, we have all of the names lined up. And if you look at you won't be able to see it unless, you may have a relative who may have passed away prior to Mikame Sensei. And if it was a woman that passed away prior to Mikame, it would be shaku ni and then the Dharma name. And post Mikame would be shaku and then the name. Everybody's the same. Everybody's written the same way, shaku, and then the Dharma name. Things change. Well, somewhere we heard that, right? Now in the Dharma somewhere, all things change. Everything is impermanent. I remember Ohata Sensei, when he was in Stockton, got really upset with this minister who had just come from Japan and was correcting him in sutra chanting. And so he got so mad with them. But I was not that mad. Everything changes. Everything. Even these practices that we kind of expect to be a part of our continued practice is changing. And even in these kinds of patterns that seem to have always been a part of our tradition, they're changing too. And a more recent change is when we read Juseige, there's a line that has a syncopated kind of and we don't really think about it, just read it syncopated. And now they've changed that too, so that you don't syncopate and you just read one character. Juseige ni datta kana? Yeah, Juseige. Seifujo shogun. It'll take old guys like myself are slow in the uptake. But so the new ministers that are coming have new information, new experiences, and they're sharing that with all of us. And again, Dharma reminds us that everything is changing. Everything is in a process of change. Yesterday we had a wonderful gathering, a retirement party, and that was really wonderful. But that too is a change, right? We're going to be inviting or welcoming Reverend Adams into the Betsuin family. And it's a change that will happen here at the Betsuin, but we are mindful of the changes that take place in our lives all the time, all the time. And not simply adjusting to these changes, but making these changes a part of our life. And I think as Buddhists, we are especially able to adjust to those changes because we are always mindful of how our lives are continuing to unfold, and in that unfolding, enriching our lives, making our lives in a way more enjoyable, making our lives more mindful as we experience these changes. So, welcome back, Mikame Sensei. I look forward to further corrections. And thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Please rise to sing the Gatha Sayonara on page 103 in the Little Service Book, followed by the Promise, located on page 5 in the Little Book or page 15 in the Big Book. The Promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Organist Mr. Yoshihara, and AV Coordinator Mr. Kitagawa. Are there any announcements?
First of all, welcome back, Reverend Mikame.
Yay!
We're so happy you're back. Okay, my monthly announcement. Okay, we're having our soul line dancing class today. Okay, so please join us. It's at 11:30 to 1 o'clock, and it's in the gym. And this is the last one for this year, so nothing in December. But in January and February, we will pick up it again, and it'll be on the first Sunday of the month. Okay, so January, whatever it is, on the first Sunday, and then February, whatever it is, on the first Sunday, okay? So please join us. We don't know after that if we're going to be able to use the gym, but hopefully we'll be able to, okay? Thank you.
I'd also like to thank all of you for your participation yesterday in various areas, attending the function, bringing the food, volunteering in the different areas. Thank you so much. But we also have scrapbook pages, so for those of you who were not able to sign them yesterday, we have them in the back of the hondo. We will continue to do this every Sunday through this year. So if you don't have time today, because I know you're going off to Dharma school, so please try to come a few minutes early next Sunday, and they'll be here for you to sign. Thank you.
And I want to thank Phyllis for heading the committee that, well,
There were 7 of us.
heading the 7 of you. Thank you, Phyllis. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay, my turn?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yesterday's party was very, very good. It was very well attended, had a lot of people there. It was very, very fun. And if you didn't attend, it was a Star Wars motif, right? So it's kind of a cool. Anyway, so the good news about Reverend Mikame, welcome back. So it's up to me to deliver the not so good news. So just to let everyone know, this is temporary. She will be returning to Japan at some point in the future. Okay, so I just don't want everyone to realize she will be going back. She's made a decision to do some other things. So I hope everyone would let her have her privacy about that. I don't want everyone trying to pry into what's going on. But she has a very, very good reason for going back to Japan, and we're all very happy for her. But so please, we're going to definitely enjoy the time that we have left with you. So whatever that time will be. So just want to let everyone know. Thank you.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
Please come forward for a short call. Good job, thank you.
was, you guys let me be the bad guy.
Well, you know, it just, unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Yep.
Are you cheering?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Bring you out more into, we'll bring you out into the light.
Morning.
Good morning.
Everything is getting better.
Oh, good, good.
I was kind of surprised when I just woke up. I lost her phone number. Do you have it?
I don't know if I have her phone number, but then she was here this morning, so,
Oh, she was?
yeah.
She went home already.
Yeah, the daughter is in Dharma school, so she went to Dharma school.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe someday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hi, okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Steve Onishi, and I'll be your chairperson for this morning's service. First of all, I'd like to start off, are there any new folks here, new visitors, people who've been here for the first time? Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Caesar.
Welcome.
I'm here from San Jose.
Oh, very good, very good. Welcome. Hopefully you can join us again in the future. Let's see. We will begin this morning's service with Sanbujo, page 24 in the largest service book, followed by the sutra chanting Juseige on page 23 in the small Dharma school service book, and page 93 in the large service book. The page numbers will be presented on the screen there. so nice to hear that familiar voice again, chanting with us once again. Welcome back, Reverend Mikame. Now, will everyone please rise for the Gatha Seiya, page 228 in the large service book, and then remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 in the small Dharma School service book.
Please join now in the reading of the three treasures, page 3 in the Dharma School, small Dharma School service book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it, and difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of thy doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda.
Now we will have a Dharma message from Rinban Sakamoto.
Good morning. Welcome to this morning's service, and those of you who are watching us on YouTube, welcome to this morning's service. As Steve mentioned, it's wonderful to hear a familiar voice back in the Hondo, joining us for our services, and coming back to join our staff once again here at the Betsuin. As you may recall, we were having difficulties with having her visa approved. Her initial, R1 visa, which she tried to renew, was denied. I mean, we couldn't be renewed, and so we had to try and figure out a way of getting her a visa that would be able to come back here to the BCA. And what was kind of worked out eventually with, fortunately, Fragomen immigration attorneys who did their work pro bono, came up with this idea of trying to use a L1 visa as a way of bringing Mikame Sensei, allowing Mikame Sensei to stay here. And the L1 visa is usually applied to corporate, international corporate visas, where individual is transferring within the company, but internationally. And the BCA, it was thought that the BCA or the Honganji was somewhat similar, in headquarters based in Kyoto, with districts outside the Buddhist Churches of America, the Hawaii Kyodan, Europe, South America. So these are 5 districts outside of Japan. And then within those districts, like branches, that the temples are represented. But so we use that model to apply for Mikame Sensei's and Imada Sensei's visas. And what was frustrating was that Imada Sensei's visa was approved, but Mikame Sensei's visa was not approved. And so we had to quickly rush her out of the United States back to Japan. And so under the cover of darkness, middle of the, we kind of shuttled her off to the airport. But it was we applied again, and it was denied. And so eventually, though, we kind of redid the application, and it was approved. The L1 visa worked to bring Mikame Sensei back, and so we're very happy that she's able to join us again here at the Betsuin. And although I was going to leave this to Steve, like I did last time at the Dharma school service, Mikame Sensei will be able to stay with us, will be staying with us for a short time. Eventually, she will return to her home in Shimane. And these are for personal reasons, so we don't want to pry her for information, but she will need to return to Japan. This is something that she decided that she would need to do, and be returning. Hopefully, when she does return to Japan, it'll be for a reason that we can all be happy about. But so while Mikame Sensei is here, please, enjoy her being back here at the Betsuin, joining our staff once again, and sharing her experiences, her skills with us here at the Betsuin. I was in the Dharma school service. I mentioned how there were several things that Mikame Sensei corrected me about. When she arrived, she said, "No, you're not supposed to be doing this." No, she didn't say that. She said, "Why are you doing that?" So some of the things that she pointed out was the way that we're ringing the Kansho for funeral services. That up until the time she arrived, Mikame Sensei arrived, which was in 2019, all through the history of our Betsuin, whenever we would ring Kansho for funeral services, we would strike the Kansho like we do for morning service, with a 7, up, down, 5, up, down, and then 3. No. So we would, for funeral service, the way we would ring it, rather than 753, we would ring 253. And when that started, it's not clear, but that was a pattern that we would follow for funeral services. We'd ring 2 twice, up, down, crescendo, decrescendo, 5, and 3. And it was apparently somewhere along the line, and we didn't get the memo that you're not supposed to be doing that, and it should be 753 for funeral service. So now we follow that pattern of 753. we're in the hinterlands. Although we don't feel that way, we are actually, so I'm a kai kyoshi. Kai means to open up. Kyo are the teachings. And so we're kind of sent overseas to share the Dharma. Kind of like, being sent from the Honzan to share the Dharma outside of Japan. And in order to do that, you need to be certified to share the Dharma outside of Japan. Kyoshi is the first certification that allows you to share the Dharma in Jodo Shinshu. And then the Kai Kyoshi is a certification that allows you to share the Dharma outside of Japan. So the ministers who are here, who are assigned to temples, are Kai Kyoshi. Without that Kai Kyoshi certification, if you are Kyoshi, you can still share the Dharma. But what will happen is you're not assigned to a temple, but rather maybe working locally at a temple that maybe you grew up at, or that you, like Reverend Jones, who has a Kyoshi certification. He's able to teach, and he's able to conduct services here at the Betsuin. And it's a decision that the individual might make, may decide to make, and not pursuing the Kai Kyoshi. Because when you become a Kai Kyoshi, you're assigned to a temple somewhere. And rather than have that happen, he would rather serve here at the Betsuin. And so he continues to have that title of Kyoshi and not the Kai Kyoshi. But we're sent out into the, again, hinterlands. And we don't often hear what's happening. Well, at least those of us who are have been kind of immersed in the temples outside of Japan for decades, and often unaware of what is going on in Japan. And so we're fortunate that when a minister comes from Japan, who has, comes from recently going through the education and the training of the Honganji as it is today, they bring that with them and to share with us. So we often, not very often, are able to go back to Japan to kind of catch up with the changes that are taking place. But when a new minister comes from Japan, comes here to the BCA or to temples outside of the Honganji, we're able to learn from them these practices that have been changing. And Buddhism reminds us that everything is in a process of change. It's a fundamental observation, it's a fundamental idea in Buddhism, that everything is in a process of change. When we do Oshoko, we come up and take of incense and pinch of incense and place it in a burner. It's not to a Buddha, it's not to someone somewhere. It's an acknowledgement, a reminder for us that like the incense that burns, it doesn't just disappear, but it changes from its recognizable form into heat and smoke and ash. And these many changes that occur are simply a process, characteristic of this incense as it burns. Not a matter of good or bad or right or wrong, simply a characteristic of that our lives also follow, that we continue to change, our experiences continue to change over time. And sometimes difficulties result from those changes. We might encounter something that is unpleasant and that causes us to be unhappy. But we also have things that come into our lives that might bring great joy. I mean, when, using Mikame Sensei as an example again, when we had to rush her out in the morning, we thought, oh, we don't know when we're going to see Mikame Sensei again, or when she might be able to come back. And so we had to figure out how we're going to do this, and we managed to do it for a while. And now that she's back, these are both changes that have occurred, but one change, a result, kind of a disappointment, uncertainty, and the other change that is taking place now brings us, we're able to enjoy her presence here back at the Betsuin. And then another change will occur someday way down in the future, where she will return again to Japan, and we at that time will be able to. And how we understand these changes that take place in our lives, we can recognize them to be these changes as characteristics of our lives. And so going back may be a source of disappointment or sadness, but also we can think of it as a way of enjoying, celebrating what takes her back to Japan. And so, although these are changes that occur in our lives, how we understand them, how we experience them, can be a reflection of how we feel, what we think, what we value. Again, change itself is neither good nor bad, and what we prefer often shapes the way that we feel. I prefer this, and that's not happening, so I get sad. I prefer that, and it's something that I like that's resulting from those changes, so I'm happy. But it's really my preference that's causing me to feel either happy or sad. So when we look at the world around us, we don't think about how much our preferences shape the way that we experience the world. That my joy or sadness is not the result necessarily of what's taking place, or just of what's taking place. It's a result of how I view it, what I expect from those changes, and how my expectations are shaping the way that I feel, whether I'm sad or whether I'm happy. Change itself, again, not a matter of good or bad or right or wrong. It's simply a condition of our life. It's constantly undergoing change. But if we're able to think about those changes that occur, certainly we can feel sadness, we can feel joy, but at the same time, if we understand that those experiences are the result of what our expectations are, then we can kind of temper that. We can be able to experience those changes in such a way that it helps us to better understand what we are experiencing, helps us to better understand what we share with one another as human beings. Again, our expectations, our preferences are often the cause for how we experience the world around us. It's not that experience, but it's our expectations that cause us to feel either sadness or joy as a result of something that's taking place. We often talk about, well, not often, but we talk about things as they are, seeing things as they are. Is a reminder of how, again, our expectations can shape the world, the way that we experience the world. About 3 months ago, much longer than that, I guess about 6 months ago maybe, I started wearing hearing aids. So I can hear better, which is good and bad. Yeah, sometimes hearing things, you can be in a conversation now. I mean, I can be in a conversation in a crowded room, and I actually can kind of make out what the conversation is about. And so it's good that now I can actually participate in conversation. I was starting to not hear, and so not really be able to understand what the conversation was about. it was getting worse and worse. But then decided to have hearing aids. And now I can hear, and so I can participate in the conversation more. I don't know if more intelligently, and that's not the, because it's not necessarily an intelligent conversation. I can at least participate with some reasonable expectation of being a part of a conversation. But sometimes, you know, when we hear things, it might throw us off. Sometimes now I hear things at home outside, and I'm wondering, what is that? So I hear this, the neighbors, so I hear from outside this sound, and I'm thinking, what is that? And so I'll ask the family, and they say, oh, that's the neighbor's dog. Oh, really? Hadn't heard that before. And it's kind of unexpected. Every morning at about 5:45, somebody goes off to work, riding a motorcycle, so I can hear that motorcycle start up and then leave. Every morning about 5:45. I can hear that now, and previously wasn't able to do that. So changes that occur in our lives, you know, we can, again, it's our expectations that shape how we feel about those changes. And if we are aware of that it's really what I expect, what my preferences are, my prejudices are, we can kind of soften how we understand or how we respond to what we are experiencing. And these kinds of examples are real kind of unimportant examples, but there are times when how we perceive the world, how we respond to the world, and if we respond to the world from our preferences, our likes and dislikes, that can have tremendous consequences. That it would be the result of our responding through our preferences, our prejudices can have consequences, not just for ourselves, but the world around us. But as Buddhists, if we understand that the source of these challenges, these difficulties, are my preferences, I like this, I don't like that. It's not that what's happening out there is simply something neutral. It may be something terrible that's happening out there, but if we respond only from our preferences, then there's kind of no way to move beyond that. But if we recognize that our response is coming from our preferences, our prejudices, then we can begin to maybe address it in such a way that it doesn't raise the level of anger or raise the level of chaos, that we can begin to participate as a kind of softening action in this conversational activity that might be going on. So, again, how we respond is important. Understanding that response may be coming from our preferences, our prejudices. Understanding that we can kind of begin to soften the boundaries that may separate us from one another. Recognizing that I have this prejudice, approaching a conversation may help to relieve the tension that may be arising because of the differences of perspectives or values. And finding some common ground that may lead us to conversations that begin to work toward the resolution of the difficulties we cause and experience. So, again, we have these preferences. We experience the world through what we like and what we don't like. But if we can begin to recognize that we do this, then we can begin to perhaps soften what separates us, what causes us to respond that may be heightened into a conflict. Buddhism is very clear about this. It begins, with the Four Noble Truths that these difficulties result from our tendency to see the world through our preferences, our likes and dislikes. But we don't have to remain like that. That we can begin to soften the boundaries that separate, and that the Eightfold Path helps us to do that. But in Jodo Shinshu, we understand how difficult it is to follow the Eightfold Path, if not impossible. And I think this is what Shinran recognized as he left Hiezan, that the practices that we are, that are prescribed, are practices that may be beyond my capability. Although I might keep trying at it, continue recognizing the limitations of my abilities and skills. But in Jodo Shinshu, what Shinran reminds us of is that although we are unable to fulfill these practices, life, Amida Buddha's great compassion, moves us toward a better understanding, a deepening understanding of what we share with one another as human beings. Even if we cannot fulfill these practices, we are affirmed by life itself that moves us toward a deepening understanding. That idea of sonomama, just as you are, is that idea or experience of simply seeing things as they are, of not responding simply from our preferences and prejudices, but responding in a way that can help us move toward a softening of the boundaries that separate us. In Jodo Shinshu, because of Amida's assurance, we are all able to resolve the difficulties that we cause and experience. Living a life then that is less kind of buffeted by or moved by simply our preferences, our prejudices, constantly bouncing around back and forth, but begin to recognize how my life is moved by this great compassion that we are all a part of, that we share as human beings. And we respond, and we say Namo Amida Butsu in gratitude and appreciation. Simply an expression of gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu, not complex, not involving very much, but a simple phrase that reminds us of the importance of the wisdom and compassion that moves us toward the resolution of difficulties. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rinban. Very enlightening. I always wondered why you seemed to ignore me all the time when I was talking to you before. It was your hearing aid. No.
So you didn't have to take it personally.
Except when I said turn it off.
Oh, yeah, there's that benefit too.
Everyone, please rise for the Sing the Gatha, Ondokusan II, on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book.
Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
At this point, are there any announcements?
I have to thank Larry for making this announcement every week. I'm here to tell you about the Grateful Crane program on November 16th. As you know, this is a BCA-sponsored program. The bishop has commissioned the Grateful Crane to put on this history of the BCA for its 125 years. But as you know, with the Grateful Crane, it's a lot of songs, nostalgic songs, romantic songs, American songs, Japanese songs, and it will be a witty production, so I hope you all come. If you want to order bento, you can do that too. Okay, November 16th, and the flyers are in the back. Thank you.
Wasn't that a grand party last night?
That was wonderful.
Oh, terrific. You see, some of it's still left over. So we get to party again this morning. Okay.
Sounds good.
I saw Mikame sensei up close for the first time. And I thought I was dreaming. I thought, Mikame sensei, you're here? And I've known Matt Rowling maybe from the beginning when he started to come here. Yeah. He impressed me from the beginning. So I'm so happy for him. Okay, speaking of preferences, you know, it's always been my preference to include men, especially when it comes to food, right? I've spoken before about it. Do you know that we have men who are volunteering more?
Very good.
Yay. Is Jin here? Jin, I lost your email. I need to have it again. Okay, Jin showed up with his beef curry last Sunday. So it's wonderful. See what you guys can do for us? Surprise us. Anyway, we encourage men. And I do have the sign-up sheet. I need to fill out November because we still want to go through with refreshments through November and through December. I know, busy months, but if you can help. You know what I'll do with this sheet is I'm going to put it on a table as you go through the garden. A small table right before you get to the second gate to enter the annex, okay? So look it over. Please help us, and you'll enjoy today's refreshments as well. We have a newbie who's joined us. So thank you to Diana Dillon. She's joined us this morning. So we love newbies. And once you do it once, you know, you're not a newbie anymore. You become a regular. So we like regulars to also join us. So thank you a lot. See you later.
I have a couple of things. First of all, thank you to everyone that attended yesterday for participating by either volunteering, bringing food. As you know, we didn't run out, so thank you very much for that. I also want to remind you that if you had not yet signed the scrapbook page that was on display yesterday, or if you were not able to attend the event, we have several pages at the back of the room. We'll continue to do that through the end of the year, so if you come a little, well, maybe not earlier, but you can stay later and sign that, that would be great. The other announcement I have is that after this service and after you have snacks, if you can join the group for soul line dancing in the gym, that would be great. And then the third thing I have is a save the date. The Nikkei Matsuri Artisan Fair is going to be on December 6th here in the annex, and BWA will have a booth. So we were not able to participate last year because of the conference, but this year we are participating, so we welcome you and urge you all to please attend December 6th. So put that on your calendar. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to thank Phyllis and her committee. She says, no, I'm not. But those who helped with the preparation and the planning for yesterday's event, I really enjoyed that, and our family really appreciates all the effort that went into that event yesterday. But I need to kind of give a reminder that although the retirement party was yesterday, I'm not gone yet. I'm going to be around for a while longer. So people are congratulating me, and that I'm not gone yet. So I'll be here until December 31st, the Joyaye service, which is still a couple months away. It's December 31st. So please, for that too, please come and join us for that annual New Year's Eve service. But that's when I actually retire and will be gone the next day, January 1st. And when Adam Sensei begins his tenure here at the Betsuin as our Rinban.
Hi, good morning. I'm Kenji Sensei. Just want to announce that this Wednesday from 7 o'clock, we're having our third and final class on the contemporary interpretation of Shin. The first class was on gratitude and the practice and how that awakens us as a physical reminder of what we're about. Second class last week was about the self, realizing that we are not individuals but actually part of groups. And this week we're calling it Engage Compassion, how Shin Buddhism can help us engage with the contemporary issues of the day. 7 o'clock, it's also on Zoom. If you don't have the link, you can connect with Kevin Ross or myself, and we'll make sure you get that link. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to thank Rinban Sakamoto for serving today, Reverend Mikame for finally joining us. Yay. Also like to thank our new MA, Matthew Rowling. Thank you very, very much, Matthew. I'd like to thank our organist, Elaine Jones, and our AV coordinator, Kevin Kitagawa. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning's service. We'll now have closing Gassho, and then afterwards, please come forward for incense offering us and joining us for refreshments next door. Thank you.
Please join us for Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, everyone. Please come forward for Oshoko.
That's it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Hello. I wander around like that.